Radiant team ban. Radiant team ban.
Visage.
Dire team pick. Dire team pick.
Wind Ranger at your service.
Radiant team pick.
Hyper.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Bristleback!
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Dragon Knight.
Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Bounty Hunter.
Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Dazzle.
Radiant team pick.
Enigma.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
My goodness, my apologies to everyone in Twitch. You didn't get to hear me at all. That whole time, no one heard me say anything. Those of you in Dota TV didn't really notice because my mic was still coming through, but I still had my mic muted. Amateur mistake by an amateur caster, and I hope you can forgive me on that one. For your Dire squad, we're just going to move on as if that never happened. Dire squad, you got Bristle back played by Sleesel hanging in the top lane. He's going to be assert himself there and really play aggressive, especially going up against the Bounty Hunter. You got the Dazzle, who's already got the Sentry Wards in hand. He's going to make it very hard for the top lane. And it's fun to see Dazzle in lane. I would expect him to pick up that Medallion, always a solid pickup. That extra minus armor to go along with that ultimate can really do dividends in the late game. Clockwork, played by Liquid ixmike. He's going to play the off lane. He has been taking a lot of off lane business lately, especially in the NEL. He does it really well. As you can see, successfully pulling out the cogs. But, ooh, Disc, one more auto attack would have done it. They want it. Here we go. Aggressive moves laid up by Brood. He wants it, but she's already salved up. This might be trouble. Brood might be running into a jam here. Nice soul assumption. They will get the first blood on the Wind Ranger. But now it looks like... Indeed. Viper will end up falling in the long run, but they do take the advantage. They get the early first blood and the XP in exchange. They do lose the carry Viper. Mike making the moves here, unable to get anything off. There was first blood right in the middle of my introductions. And your mid lane can be played by Arteezy Clinks. He's feeling his comrade Eternal Envy's Clinks game. He's going to take it to the mid lane. Interesting enough, so... Interesting setup, something we don't get to see every day in the Dragon Knight Clinks mid. Already Yugi hanging around the mid lane. Oh, he wants the courier, baby. He wants the courier. He's looking for that delicious bottle. This could be really rough for Arteezy. It could be morally stricken. And Oh, he knows it's going to come back. He knows the bottle will be delivered. He's getting the ping out here. Does he know it's going to happen? Oh, he knows. Ooh, the game sense by Arteezy is wise to the game of Yugi, looking out for the courier. And he's holding it back. He knows it's unsafe. How long will he wait out this one? I'm just going to keep my eyes here in the mid lane. Is he going to take him for the long run? He's going around long. Very nice moves and game sense by Arteezy to scout out the bounty hunter and will allow the courier to make the big long run around. It's going to be a waste of his time. He's going to take his business back to the top in the mid lane. The bottom lane, they're laying a little aggression on Trouf. Meanwhile, Mike sweeps through, grabs the illusion, salves up, trying to lay a little bit of a threat in the jungle for Trouf. Meanwhile, successful pulls in the top lane, and they're having a bit of free farm as Yugi's been roaming to the mid lane. So Sleesel's going to look to try to take up as early as possible. He already has a stout shield in hand. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes for that early Vanguard. Meanwhile, Dable taking a bit of damage here. I am casting. Can you not hear me? I don't know if he's trolling me or not, but I am casting. Is there a problem here? Is there any technical difficulties that I should be aware of? I have unmuted my microphone in the stream, and in Dota TV, I see my chat box thing right here. I just hope to goodness it's going. Let's see. Come on. What the hell? Audio. Da-da-da. That's it. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. 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 Works both. Okay, sorry about the hold up there, guys. I gotta make sure it's going good. Sorry about the delay there. Mike, he's laying it. He's going for Brood. He pops the cogs. He catches him right now. Gonna hopefully pop the battery assault. There it goes. Now laying damage, but he's taking a lot himself. He's gonna be forced to back up. Disc is nearby with the shackle. No shackle, just a wind run. Still holding that level 2, it looks like, or got attributes? What the? No, he's just holding it. Waiting for the opportune time to use either the power shot or the shackle if need be. Meanwhile, Artur eating a fire blast to the face. We're going to go ahead and throw up the last it denies. A little slow on that, sorry. But you could see Sleesel with the early free lane able to get ahead in CS. Artur laying down the heavy hits on Dable. One more should do it, and he gets it. Nice pickup by Arteezy in the mid lane, beating out the Dragon Knight, and he is winning the CS game heavily in the mid lane. 23, 24, and 7 by the MLG champion. Going against poor little Dragon Knight, who is at 9 and 2. Poor little Dragon Knight was trying to get some assistance and some early, an early advantage by using the assistance of the Bounty Hunter in the mid lane, but it wasn't successful. The game sense and the ability of Arteezy to outwit this mid lane is going to be very nice for him. The score is 1-2. An advantage for your Dire team. Windrunner going ahead to do the Ancients a little bit of pull action here. Not getting much done as Brood is getting some nice farm. 27 and 6 now for his CS. He has powered treads already ready to go. And all the meanwhile, Sleesel's just kind of farming away. The sentries still has one more to plant down in case they try to make moves. Bristleback is going to go for Snot in case he finds the opportune time to make an advantage on Yugi. So he's going to have to play careful here. Yugi just trying to push ahead, get his level 6, get that track gold. He wants to be able to bring the gold in for the rest of his team. They're going to need it as quick as possible. But here comes Arteezy, finds Trouf in the jungle and quickly takes him out like it's nothing. Over on this end, though, Brood manages to pick off Liquid Mike, and now I'm a sheep under the gun. Will fall to Arteezy. Arteezy ready to man up, gets a double kill himself. Just with gloves and a Wraith Band and plenty of XP ready to go, he's able to get a couple of kills under his belt. 2 and 4. He's sitting really pretty right now. Already winning the mid lane successfully, getting the pick off, and now a set of pickoffs in the bottom lane. This is an early momentum gain that the Dire are happy to have. Meanwhile, top Yugi now taking a lot of damage here. Sleesel running him down with the Snots. Oh, but the vision won't be there as he runs out of the Sentry Ward. Very smart play there by Yugi to not run straight back. Probably made the early cut to the east and got himself out of the vision and successfully got away. I don't believe he had enough mana to pop another set of quills, and he will get away by the skin of his teeth. Obviously, when you're going against the likes of a Bristleback lane, you're going to want to get that early magic stick. It will save you when you are in a jam. little bit of ice from your Kotlguy, if you didn't already know. Bit of pauses here, laid out back and forth. A bit of lagging here. Arteezy claiming of lag, but of course when you have had the sweet celebration of playing on 0 ping LAN, it's going to feel like lag wherever else you go. Mike's been having a bit of a hard time in this off lane. His farm is pretty low. It's 7-0. He tried to get the lane in his favor, but there's just too much happening. He's going against the range of the Viper, and of course the assistance of the Visage earlier in the game. And of course you have to always worry about a roaming Trout in the jungle. He was forced to play very defensively, unable to get any sort of farm for himself. He's also trying to push for that level 6, but when you compare that to the Bounty Hunter, he is winning the game a little bit. The Bounty Hunter hasn't necessarily fed over any kills in the off lane, while Mike has, so I don't know. When you consider the fact that Arteezy's got a couple early pickoffs, you'd have to say that the Dire, even though it doesn't show so on this graph, I would have to... Oh, no, it does, sorry. I'm thinking backwards here. What the hell? Cunt is the name on the graph for the Dire team. They're ahead by a little bit with the gold. Long, lingering pause here. And we're going to go ahead and just wait it out. Trying to see what they're trying to make here. Well, they do have the double slow, and it does look like Dazzle's going to go ahead and try to level up that poison touch as early as possible. But as long as this Bounty Hunter is able to play it safe and kind of be a little more elusive, he's not going to allow these two, this fearsome duo up here to get any sort of early kills. He got the slow poison touch, along with the vicious nasal goo, minusing your armor. And you're also going to consider the fact that Dazzle will have weave later in the game. I'm sure one of them will pick off a medallion, and you're going to be dealing with a team that has a lot of minus armor. Put that together with Mike, who's going to be getting the early initiation, and then on the outskirts, Arteezy laying out the damage. And you got a little bit of reliable disable here with the Shackle Shot of Disc. He hasn't leveled it up yet, but an additional burst. You're going to have a team that's going to be able to get nice pickoffs, good initiation, and quick burst down as well. And well, if Artur looks like he's definitely going to be going for an early Midas, already about 1k in the bank plus the gloves. I mean, what are we going to be dealing with here? Is he going to go for an Orchid this kind of game? Well, if he finds Trout out on his own, an Orchid will help him out and get a quick burst down. Is he going to go with the Eternal Envy's quick, blink build? Which is interesting enough. There's also been a lot of talk lately of people getting Boots of Travel. They feel like when you get an early Boots of Travel successfully, sorry, I'm getting a bit of back and forthness here. It does appear that Brood is disconnected. I'm not sure if he's coming back. But we've already seen the strengths. I mean, I want to talk more about this game, but from what it's looking like, is this game even going to keep going? I'm happy to fill the time as best as possible, but what I was going to get into is we've obviously have gone over what the Dire team has to offer, but if we look at the Radiant team here, obviously you got the initiation there by Trout, given he's able to get the farm. Now he's going to be dealing with a lingering Arteezy, who, given when he gets up his first item, you can accept him to really move into that roaming game and really be a nuisance to Trout in the jungle, hindering his farm. He's already got the mana boots, which isn't too bad, but he's got to really step it up. He's got to turn up the knob on the farm and try to get that early initiation or survivability if he wants to just lay out an early BKB, but it's going to be pretty crucial for the team. And then, they got the Bounty Hunter. Given he's able to lay down the track on Arteezy so they can spot him out ahead of time, they don't really have enough to offer to really take advantage of the mid game. This is just my personal opinion here. When you got Dable, he's got great pushing power with the ultimate. Of course, the stun is always very excellent, but you're dealing with a melee carry, and that's not someone you typically want to have, especially when you have a Clockwork already on the other team. And Clockwork zips in, lays out the cogs, and it's going to force the Dragon Knight to go into his ultimate right away to be even a part of the fight altogether. And then, of course, you always have the reliable Visage on hand, who's able to bring in a little bit of extra pushing power. And, of course, with those familiars, a little extra stun lock and a little more map awareness. And of course, if your team is able to get in some heavy bursts with the Shuriken and the Fire Blast and etc., and he can really lay out a nice heavy Soul Assumption. And he came back for a moment and he left again. Dag nabbit. Really want to get this game going. And Bounty Hunter still, as you can see, level 4. Is this still just the same as last time I checked on these two guys? It is, just nothing new. No surprises. Yugi's got to get any sort of reliable farm for himself. Got to get that level 6 track. They're going to want to try to get pick-offs, but I mean, who are you going to get picked off? You're already dealing with the Dazzler, who's already got level 1 Shallow Grave. You try to pick him off, he's going to have that little bit of extra survivability as long as his team is able to rotate properly. If he dare, do they try to jump him with the Bounty Hunter? It's going to be too hard. He's not going to be able to get him down quick enough. And I don't know. I know already the Dire team have a significant advantage. They got the early kill in the mid lane and a double pick off for Arteezy, who, I mean, if we look at it, he's holding pretty much all the kills for his team. 3-0 for his team. But I also feel like they kind of had the upper hand in this draft as well. Once again, just my personal opinion, trying to fill the dead air of this pause. Here we go. Brood says he's back and ready to go. And finally, we're going to have an unpause. Thankfully. Let's see if I can go ahead and get my bearings, get right back into the game. And leading the pack as far as CS, Sleesel in the top lane, 46-12. He's building it quickly. As you can see, he is going to go for that early Vanguard. He's got the Ring of Health already ready to go. Smart pulls here laid by Fan of Soyan on the Dazzle. It's always good to see Dazzle back in the mix. Don't get to see him played very often. I'm always a big fan. It's always excellent to have a nice, reliable, bit of a survivability, but the thing is, you don't see him played a lot these games. You don't see the healers played a lot these games. I have read about this recently. Typically a lot of the more competitive teams, they want to go ahead, they think damage is better. Obviously disable is great as well, but damage is key. You want to be able to get out as much damage, you want to get out as much kills as possible. And it's not always about just being able to survive and last long, especially when you got teams that have heavy burst supports. So part of the reason why you don't see Dazzle play too often, but they are working with a lot of good synergy here. Let's say for the instance Arteezy decides to go something interesting and builds up the Desolator. That's going to be even more minus armor from the rest of the team. As you can see, he's already begun the hunt. He's hunting around, looking through the jungle, see if he can find Trough. He doesn't, but now he's thinking about making a move on this Broodstar. He's very low, pauses the game right away. He is accepting his inevitable death, potentially, as he doesn't have much. He does have some survivability. He needs to switch these into strength as soon as possible. Has the ring on hand. Will he pop it over to strength? Yes, he does right away. Will he be able to survive this? Oh, Visage coming in from behind. He wants to be able to get off a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough. Soul Assumption's there. Here comes Drop. They want to secure the kill and get that bounty, and they do. The late Shackle will not help, and now Defragmenter on the run towards the back end. 511 gold for that bounty, by the way. Mike shows up to the party, lays out the cog wall, but he's not level 6 yet. He's going to be forced to retreat. And Radiant with a little bit of victory there. Yes, the Viper does fall, but they do manage to get Arteezy, and they do manage to get that bounty as well. Still no track, though, in the mix yet for this bounty hunter. He is level 5. Comparison to Mike's level 4, he's about to be level 5. He is getting ahead, but all the meanwhile, Sleesel in this top lane, still farming it up. He's got 62 and 16 CS. Vanguard already complete. He's going to be a real factor. Once they decide to get into the fight, he'll be able to be in the mix. He can maybe even hold a gem early if they decide to do that, but he'll be in the fight, laying out the quills, and it will shred apart these weak supports of Bounty Hunter and Enigma, and even Visage. They're not going to be able to stand up to these quills. They need to make sure they all have magic wands or something to just survive. Maybe an early mechanism. We'll see if Visage is going to be the early mech holder for the team, but if they will go with the Viper. But he looks like he might be building into something else for survivability, going with the Vanguard instead. I don't know how I feel about that. I do feel like you're going to need to keep your weak little supports alive, because the damage that this Dire team is going to lay out is just going to be a little too much. Just a little too much. Disc is going to occupy the mid lane now that Arteezy has moved around. Meanwhile, top lane, Yugi in a bit of trouble. Not enough mana to lay out another Quills, and Yugi can hide away in the woods and be able to get away from this. Close, but no cigar once again. It's this dynamic duo of Dazzle and Bristle in the top lane. They're unable to get the finish. Meanwhile, bottom lane, a bit of action here. Mike in a bit of trouble, eating a lot of damage from this Radiant squad. Arteezy shows up. He wants redemption. He takes out Brood, and he takes out Enigma for a nice double kill of revenge for his fallen Mike comrade. Good counter initiated by the Dire team. And they come up the victors there. Meanwhile, Sleesel eating a bit of damage. And Visage going to be forced to escape. The heal will fly, but it will not be enough as he does get out of there. Meanwhile, Mike, really determined to get this level 6, goes to the mid lane where he's going to be a little more safe and able to get that free level 6. Dable, in the meantime, has been using his time to get a little more farm. He had a really hard time in the early game in the mid lane going against Arteezy. Got picked off early. He needed to build up some farm. I believe at one point, if I remember, he was 9-1 to Arteezy's like 27. So, definitely needs to get back in the mix. Picks up a regen.
Radiant's bottom
And
tower
in the
is
top
under
lane, you
attack.
can see Sleesel. He's got the robe. No surprise if he goes into the drums. Extra survivability, extra move speed to get into the fight, into where he needs to get those quills laid out.
Radiant's
And get
bottom
that, but he's going to
tower
run into a
is
bit of
under
trouble.
attack.
Bit of rotation here. Yugi's happy. He's not level 6 yet, though. They might want to wait for this. I don't know if they're going to go right for it. Sleesel eating a lot of damage. Viper Strike laid out. And now Yugi trying to body block him a bit, laying out a bit of damage. He's not level 6 though. They will not get the track gold, but they will get the kill as Sleesel will finally go down. The king of CS this game has fallen, and it will set him back a bit. Mike, happy to level 6, now uses it, makes a jump on Trout. Trout eating a lot of damage, does have Black Hole. Will he turn and use it defensively, but he can't when the battery assault's there. And they quickly take him apart with the help of a power shot nearby by Disc. So nice game sense by the team of Dire. They make the jump on Trout, and with the battery assault, Mike is body blocking him and unable, he's unable to lay out the black hole. Can't get the space he needs to put it out. Meanwhile, Yugi shows up, happy to have Track now, lays it on Disc, but Visage was held up by the shackle. Track has laid one more hit, help familiars. Mike shows up, lays out the cogs, and bodyguards the potential danger. And they're pursuing this one. Yugi's still in the neighborhood. Looking to make something happen. Dable pops his ultimate. They might be looking to push this tower if they can't get the kill. In the meantime, Sleesel might be ready to trade as he goes for the top. Brood making his way there. Might be a little too late, though, to stop it. And now they're making advancements on this tier 1 in the mid lane.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And they're going to go ahead and they're going to trade tier 1 for tier 1, it looks like. But Sleesel's going to have to work for it. He's taking too long. He's trying to take out Brood, and he will pay the price. I don't know what he was thinking there. He's trying to make an advancement on Viper, but Viper is a great hero to kite around the likes of a Bristleback. So, bit of a bad judgment call there by Sleesel, and he will pay. They won't get the tier 1, but it's not quite deniable yet. So we'll see if they try to make a push happen top lane and quickly pick it off with the likes of Arteezy. But speaking of which, he is in the bottom lane, and he is going to go for that Orchid build. Already has the Oblivion Staff in hand. But I'm going to go ahead and throw up the items so you guys can take a look over the rest of the items for the team as Arteezy finishes off the tier 1 in the bottom lane and quickly escapes. Oh, they're looking to make a move here. They're going to catch Mike. Trout still has Black Hole ready to go. Lays out the Meldic. Sees him. Oh, if he turns around and gets a nice ult here on Mike before he can hookshot, it could be successful. But now Mike making advancements on Trout. There's the Black Hole. He will catch him. Arteezy on the outskirts, though. He will make him pay as they trade 1 for 1. Dable not going to be able to do this fight. Now Arteezy happy to take in another kill. He is already 8-1 in this game, with a Midas in hand, plus an Oblivion Staff. He's sitting high on the farming hill. Feeling pretty confident he'll be able to have the Death Pact in 20 seconds, and Dable, obviously with no mana, won't be able to burst him down. Meanwhile, Sleesel, happy to finally get the tier 1 tower in the top lane. Now making moves on Brood, laying out the goo, slowing him down. The burst, so we're going to see a rotation, and we will. Will Sleesel be overzealous again? He'll need about 2 more quills to finish him off. Nice Grave Shallow, the quick TP away. Nice moves by Brood, the TP out of there, and it forces Sleesel to pay the price. And they also take out the Dazzle from behind. A little bit extra track gold for this Radiant team, and they're right back in it. And they're even ahead. 10-9 the score, if we look at the gold graph. It did pop in their favor earlier, but you got to consider the fact that you got Arteezy, who's farming very nicely with that Midas. But Radiant are happy to take that kill and take that victory. Roaming through the jungle, Arteezy has his second Oblivion staff. Happy to quickly get that Orchid. Will be able to shut down pretty much anyone on the Radiant team if he happens to catch him off guard. And now the Radiant team looking to go for the tier 1 top lane. Already Radiant, or sorry, the Dire have made a rotation. Sleesel shows right back up to the top lane after his recent death. Trouf, as you can see, is going to be the mechanism holder for his team. And all the meanwhile, as you can see, mid lane, Arteezy does get a quick pick off on Brood. Radiant happy to sit in the top lane, trying to take out the Dazzle. Will fall. That's delicious track gold, but Sleesel manages to take out Visage with the power of the Quill. Mid lane, Dire looking to get this tier 1 mid. Arteezy wants it. A few more auto attacks will do it, and he does complete that. And with that 800 gold in the bank, that much closer, he gets the Orchid already completed. A little bit of rotation here by Yugi. Spotting out Mike, but the story in the mid lane is Trouf taking a lot of damage and silenced out. But they're going to try to pin down Arteezy here. Lays out the Maldic. One more attack will do it. Wants him to pay for it. Dable. Oh, nice shackle. But it won't be enough as Arteezy will eventually fall. Trouf knows he was going to fall, did the smart move, turning around the layout as much damage as possible. As you can see, Mike picks up the Staff of Wizardry. He's going to go for that early push stick build, but he's in a lot of trouble right now. Yugi shows up, lays out the track, 2-on-1, and Mike was caught picking his nose in the top river, waiting for the rune, which will pop bottom. He gets quickly picked off. By the way, your rune watch in the bottom lane is going to be this DD in the bottom lane. DD in the bottom. It's going to be picked up by Dable, bottled up rather, and he's looking to build towards that BKB. I like that choice. More survivability, doesn't want to get quickly bursted down, knows that the other team is pretty squishy. And in the meantime though, speaking of squish, Visage falls in the top to Sleesel, who's doing the job of the Bristleback. Now he has drums completed and the Vanguard, already a chainmail. We're going to see him build into that just big fat meatball. He's got to go for the blade mail. He wants to be in the fights. He wants to be taking all that damage. He wants to be able to send it right back to the rest of the Radiant team. And Dazzle picks up the Midas early. This is interesting. Ideally, just going from one support to another, I would like to see Dazzle pick up the Medallion. And we're not seeing Medallion picked up by anyone else on the team. That's a little bit of extra minus armor that can go along with the Nasal Ghoul of Sleesel, plus the Weave of Dazzle. And I just think it adds so much. I mean, there was recently an item discussion in Reddit about the item. It's 1,000 gold. You don't lose any armor. I mean, the item itself grants you a passive 6 armor, but meanwhile, mid lane, Trouf laying out the black hole. They want to take Arteezy down. Nice sentry ward will allow them to get caught off, and Arteezy a little overzealous, thinking to be able to get whatever he wants, but good job by the Radiant team to recognize the fact that Arteezy with that Orchid, he's going to look for some easy pickoffs. They're going to bait something out, and when he makes the move in, they're going to converge and they're going to take him out easy. So now this is going to force Arteezy to change up the game a bit. He's not going to be able to as easily go on the hunt, especially when you got the Radiant with the sentry wards, with the dust on hand. And now they're going for the tier 2 in the mid. All the meanwhile, though, Dire have a couple of goons here in the top lane trying to get the tier 2. Windranger makes a run out. And look at this pushing power here. You got the Iodion? How do you pronounce that? You got Enigma's friends, Familiars, laying out lots of extra damage, but now they're making a move on Sleesel. Sleesel's the tank of the team. There we go. Lays out the grave, but it's a little early, and Sleesel will fall. They take out the meat of the team. Wow, Dazzle eating a lot of damage from that Soul Assumption. Already forced to step back. He doesn't even have his ultimate yet. He just went Die-Hard Poison Touch, a 4-3-1 build. Wow, this is an interesting choice. I mean, before I said that typically as a support, it's not, they don't like to pick up the healers, but he is going indeed a full damage build on Dazzle. Interesting choice. Arteezy is dusted, but he is going to make a run for it and get away. No point in chasing that one out, says Brood. But, yeah, going back to Dazzle, he's going with a little more aggression here. He is going to go into what looks like the mechanism for the team. So I like the idea of him getting a little more survivability, but he doesn't even have the heal bonus to back it up. And like I said, I would like him to get that medallion. Meanwhile, Mike, though, getting a lot of damage. Very confident before that he can't be killed. Will fall as the push stick, but it will not be enough. And they're going to go ahead and go for the tier 2 with that extra pushing power. In the meantime, though, Visage going to be forced to get out of there. Will do so. They don't have the stun. The shackle wasn't laid out. I guess it wasn't there. Now a shackle flies. Will not catch. And now Bounty Hunter on the run. They're laying out serious amounts of hurt. And they take him out with no problems. Plus the dust from the Wind Ranger doesn't hurt. Meanwhile, Brood in the top lane. He's going for an early plate mail. I'm going to assume he's going to go for some sort of utility Viper, going with this early Assault Curios. I don't imagine him going with Shiva's armor, so I'm going to assume that's going to be an Assault Curios to work alongside the Dragon Knight. They're going to need him to build into damage relatively soon if they want to be any sort of factor in the long haul. So they're going to count on Viper to be near the battle and allow Dragon Knight to get that extra attack speed and extra survivability, as I would imagine he needs to build into a little more damage now. They take out the Roche on the Dire side, and obviously they will hand over the Aegis to Arteezy, who was hanging around the mid lane. He's already spotted out by this Sentry Ward right here. And meanwhile, Radiant, they're feeling pretty confident with their push game. They made moves to the top lane. And Yugi's going to scout them out. Anyone on the Dire have any sort of... They do have dust on hand. No sentries in the area, though. We can go ahead and look over the Dire. You can see the vision is kind of minimal. Not much going on as far as vision. Radiant, though, feeling very confident, hanging around the jungle. Spots him out. Cease is pretty tanky here. Dable making a move, lays out the stun, and pops the Dragon form. But a nicely placed Shackle. Mike from the back ropes. Very nicely done. Waits it out for Trout. Not allowing him. Will push himself away. Trout still has that black hole ready to go. Pops it. Catches Sleesel on Artur. But the rest of the team is free and allows Wind Ranger to lay out the Shackle and stops him in his place. And the Dire turning it right around. 3 fall. Yugi on the run will fall anyways. And a triple kill. It says double on the screen, but I believe Arteezy got the triple kill there. And that was an interesting set of plays there. Mike made a move immediately on the Enigma. Didn't want to allow him to get a nice black hole setup. Pushed himself away. Ended up going for the black hole. And a very smart Wind Ranger held off the shackle shot for the appropriate time. Hanging on the outskirts and managed to stop Trouf from being too successful with the black hole. And they were able to turn it right around. Arteezy was laying out lots of damage. And able to shut down the squishiness the Radiant team, and now he's going to town on the tier 2. Rotations laid out by the Radiant team. Here comes Yugi, but what the heck? He got immediately destroyed. I don't know what he was thinking there. Thought he'd be able to get into the mix and out before Arteezy was able to lay him out, but that was not the case. Arteezy shut him down immediately, able to get a haste rune as well. Just doing so well this game. Showing why he's the MLG champion. Taking upon himself to be the heavy carry role for the team. Dazzle completes his mechanism. And a BKB was completed as well on Arteezy. It's going to make it that much more difficult for them able to shut down Arteezy and lock him down. I mean, he's still relatively squishy, and 1.2k to his name, but when you're not able to Malefice or catch him with appropriate stun from Dragon Knight, or even a Viper Strike, it's going to be that much harder to really focus him down. He's already, though, looking at Brood. He's going to get the early sight here. He's all alone on this. He's hungry, and he wants to get it. He wants blood. And now he's laying out the damage. There goes the Orca. The silence is there. We'll need a lot more hits, though. You got to consider the fact that Viper has that passive. Turns around. It will not be enough, and Mike shows up to the party with a rocket. And Dazzle's there as well, in case things got a little too hairy. Yugi, in the meantime, going for something you don't see every day. A 4-staff bounty hunter, but does feel it will be necessary when you're going against the Clockwork, obviously. You want to be able to save your team from being so isolated. Arteezy, though, on the hunt, will scout out the DK. Is he going to make a move on this? I don't know if he'll be able to take him out. Look at all that armor he already has in the bank. He is actually going to go for the Assault Curios. This is interesting because I don't know what is going to happen with the plate mail of Viper. I don't know if there's something I'm missing.
Much appreciated.
But, wow. A lot of armor. I guess they were really worried about the armor build that I was planning for them. the goo plus the weave. Dazzle chooses to get a medallion. They're going to have the armor ready to go. Look at this. A couple of wards laid out by both teams, allowing the Dire team to have a little offensive vision. And obviously the Radiant are going to play a little more defensive with their wards. Trelf moves in. They catch out Mike, who's forced to lay out the wall. The long ball Shuriken won't do much to offer after. In the meantime, they're making a push down the mid lane. Silence laid out on Trelf. Is Trelf able to survive? He's happy to survive. He has the black hole still ready to go. There goes the poison touch. Just a bit of aggression here. A little bit of nuke down. And Sleesel's happy to lay out the quills early and stack them quickly. Stun. Lock. Laid out by the familiars. They heal up though. Weave still ready to go. Moves in by Mike. Catches out Dable, the Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight is going to be forced to pop the ultimate and the BKB. He's trying to return fire now. Tralf's still sitting in the outskirts. He doesn't have a Blink Dagger to get in there and get a good black hole. But still waiting on the outskirts. Arteezy doesn't even want to be a part of the fight yet. He wants to be fashionably late to show up and just kind of clean through the team. Sleesel's just going to wait it out. Really prolong this fight, and Arteezy is going to be showing up in the back ropes. He's making moves on Tralf, now turning on Brood. They managed to finish off the Dazzle and the Bristleback, but now Arteezy pops the BKB and able to finish off Tralf, now turning on Brood. Will he get that kill as well? Oh no, needs one more hit to do it. The Shackle catches them both. Very good job by Dis. This is going to be the end of them. He will fall. Yugi shows up. They force him to pop the Aegis, but they're going to be forced to retreat here as Arteezy's just too much to handle right now. 19 to 23. The Dire is sitting very pretty. We're going to go ahead and pop over the net worth, and as you can see, no surprises there. Arteezy in the front. How did they manage to pick off the Enchantress? Arteezy getting a little too greedy with the creeps. Leaves Wind Ranger alone for 1 second, and she gets quickly bursted down by both the Dragon Knight and the Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter lays out the track and a little bit of damage. Whew, he's got to be careful there. He's playing with fire. Literally. We'll need to step back. Arteezy don't care though. 4.3k in the bank. He'll just happily farm away. Easily has a buyback ready to go if needed. And we'll see if he decides to build into a little more damage, potentially on MKB or anything else. He saw Curios, as you can see, finish off by that ever so tanky Bristleback, so I was wrong earlier. Not going to go with that Blade Mail. Doesn't feel that there's enough damage output by the Radiant team. Instead, just kind of build it into that Assault Curios. He's going to be in the mid of all the fights, laying out a little extra utility, extra auras for Arteezy to take advantage of a little more survivability, a little more attack speed. Doesn't hurt either. But if we look over on the Radiant team, he's got those two in the bank. I'm really curious what's going to happen over here with the plate mail here. Is it just more survivability? He decides to then go into the reliable Yasha. A little bit extra damage, a little more mobility. Sleesel lays out the long ball goo. Are they going to push for this? Tralf makes a move in. Nice push in. Lays out a great black hole. Mike caught off. Misses with the hook shot and hits the creep instead. And unfortunately, that could cost him. But no, nice wall after. Shoves them all back. They're going to be forced to hit the high and the low road to get back into the fight. Sleesel, don't focus him. He's way too tanky. They're making moves on Mike. Now they're going to turn and make a move on Sleesel. Arteezy was able to get away from all that, and now they move themselves to the mid lane. And, wow. Nice move by Tralf, just kind of pushing himself into the fight, lays the nice catch of the black hole. Mike, unfortunately, doesn't quite catch with the hook shot. Could have worked. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, though. Catches a creep on the outskirts instead. Plays a nice walled delay, but unfortunately, he was delaying the inevitable, and a couple will fall. Now they're making a push on the bottom lane here. Tralf, Dable, and company. They do not have Brood. Brood is singing in the mid lane. Arteezy's kind of farting around the mid, still farming the creeps on the side. Meanwhile, Shackle laid out, catches Dable. They're going to go ahead and get this tier 2. Yugi's trying to time it out. Enigma ends up getting the last hit. Any extra gold will hurt. As you can see, the gold graph slowly going back up, but we might catch a pick off here. They don't have a gem in hand or a nearby sentry to scout out Arteezy. Arteezy, though, very confident, getting quick familiar gold. Plays the BKB. He is tracked up. Going for I'm a Sheep sucks. will not manage to finish him off, and now they're running back, forth, up and down to get away. Trout very low now, running through the outskirts. One more hit will do it. No, doesn't get it off right there. Trout laid out, turn fire here. Viper strike popped. Arteezy doesn't have BKB anymore. He is going to fall for this. Will do so. Nice kite maneuvers. Trout able to get away with a little bit of life, as well as Dable now on the run, but they got their moves on Yugi here. Mike is tracked up, catches him with the wall. But there we go, does pop by disc, lays out the power shot, and the Wind Ranger cleans up Yugi. They trade 1 for 1, but for the fall of Arteezy, the Radiant are happy to take that. Arteezy getting a little greedy, a little overzealous. The Radiant able to split apart and kind of kite him out a bit, and get the proper counter initiate to finish him off. Very nice. About 30 minutes into this game, 23 to 24, so relatively looks pretty even. The Dire are ahead in gold, about 2,500 gold. I'll go ahead and throw up some of the items. As you can see, Sleesel did recently pick up that Assault Curios. Did help a little bit, but he wasn't near Arteezy for that fight. Arteezy goes straight into a little more extra damage, has the Daedalus already built together and ready to go. And on your... That's good to hear like the Office theme in the background. That was throwing me off there. And as you can see on your Radiant team, happy to inherit a little bit of extra gold, a little bit of extra track gold. What's your dick like? AKA Brood finishes off the Manta style, still has that plate mail ready to go. And Dable, no plate mail quite yet, has the recipe, but he's a little bit off. Needs a little bit of extra gold. He's got 1,800 in the bank. He's super close to that Hyperstone to finish it off, so that could be a little more help here. So, the Dire team are going to need a little bit more than just Arteezy, it looks like, in this later game. You got to remember Sleesel, though very heavy, very heavy, a nice meat for the team, isn't laying out serious damage here. Mike caught off here. They're trying to make an advancement. He will lay out the nice cog wall to cog block him. They're going to be forced to pull back. Think different. Dable, though, did have to pop the ultimate. It's got 100 seconds. Looking for some ancients to do. You could look for the Dire team to make an initiation here. They pop the dust. It does catch the bounty hunter on the outskirts there, and now they're making a turn. Arteezy eats the Viper Strike, pops the BKB. There goes the weave. Oh, the beak. The bit canceled by Trout gets canceled there. They lay out the shackle to make it a turn. Now Mike under the gun right here in the mid lane. Meanwhile, Dazzler shows up, eats a big soul assumption as Dable laying out the damage, forced to pop the grave on himself. Brood very low, pushed right back in the mix, unfortunately was turned. Eats a last hit, and Arteezy finishes him off. In the meantime, though, Malk making moves on Dable. Will we force him and Trout to step back here? No more black hole, as said before. Dable stepping back. Sleesel pretty tanky, though. Can eat a lot of these hits and step back. In the meantime, though, Arteezy finishes off the bounty hunter. And now it's 2 for 1 here. Dire, happy to make moves in. Liquid makes a jump in. Eats the soul assumption, won't be enough. And Trout will fall. 3 for 1 exchange. Dire now making a move in the mid lane. They want to try to get this tier 3 tower. They're laying out some serious damage here. New Daedalus in hand. Now they're making advancements in. Visage trying to slow them down. They've already back in the fight. They want to take this tier 3 and probably get out of there. And they get it.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And fight time. Here we go. Sleesel eats a stun, putting out a bit of damage there, but it will not be enough for the tanky Dragon Knight. Power shot laid, disc nearby, but they're kind of overstaying their welcome here. Oh man, just balls to the wall, lays them both out. Smartly timed BKB, but it won't matter as he eats the poison and will fall to Brood. Takes 2 for the road. 3.7k already in the bank. You can say that the Radiant already have 1 foot in the grave. It's not looking pretty for him. The graph has shot right back down. Already, as you can see, the Dire team have about an 8k gold lead. EXP not pretty either. Not pretty at all. Arteezy sitting in the front, 20k gold of net worth. And right behind him, not right behind him actually, he's about 8k gold way ahead here. But ahead of the Dragon Knight and the Viper. So Arteezy kind of single-handedly doing work for the team. Sleesel did disconnect, but the Dire don't feel it's necessary to pause just yet. Ghost Scepter picked up by the Bounty Hunter. They need that extra survivability. They need to prolong or kind of, take Arteezy. They're going to have to try to get him to bait out the BKB. Maybe Ghost Scepter, kite him up a little bit like before, and then be able to turn and shut him down, but they're going to have to deal with the clockwork, making the first advancement in. You got to consider that Trouf, he has a Force Staff, but he's forced to use it very defensively. You're going to be dealing with the clockwork jumping in. You have a Force Staff already built up on both the Bounty Hunter as well as the Enigma, helping out the teammates. They're just forced to play so defensively, they're not able to get anything going themselves, but just as I say that, they pop the smoke. And they're making a run to the north here. They're going to see the haste rune. It's going to be a little helpful. But the Dire already starting to make a run through the jungle. Mike's got to be careful here. Radiant team, though, they're going to take it to the top lane, it looks like. They're not going to use it. Nope, now they're sweeping the corner. Roche is up. If Dire have a hunch that the Radiant are in the jungle, they could go right for the Roche. And it looks like that could be the case. Thanks. Really? Still no Medallion for the Dazzle? I really think Medallion is a good item, but they're going to go for Push Stick instead. Arteezy already laying out the damage. Halfway already on the Roche. This is going to be uncontested. Just very easy. Oh, wow. Nice. Lincoln Sphere picked up by the Wind Ranger to add a little extra survivability. Obviously, in 6.79, you're able to hand off your Lincoln Sphere to a comrade. And that's why you see this big blue ball on the Arteezy Clinks. Now they want to make maneuvers to the top lane. They know the Radiant are looking to push. It's pretty much the only ace in the hole they have is this pushing power. Dragon Knight has his dragon form ready to go. Obviously Trouf can be sitting in the mid lane, not there to offer any sort of assistance. Does have Black Hole though, but they're going to be careful not to be caught off. They're going to be forced to step back. Already a couple of TPs out. Dable, he might be stuck, and he's stuck in there. Tries to get something going, but is caught out and will fall. They have to lose 2 in exchange for the tier 2 tower. Don't know if it was worth it to feed over those kills. I mean, you got to consider that you're giving both those kills to Arteezy, the big DPS dealer of the team. He already has Manta Style as well. He's just pretty much 6-slotted at this point, just so far up and above and ahead of everyone else in the game. 22k worth of net worth. The next in line is Sleesel, his own comrade, 15k, and then finally behind that you have the Viper on 13k. 2.2k in the bank. He will have a buyback as well. This is not good. Yugi throwing out the potential GG. And he's already going to town, just laying out too much damage. Doesn't even need to use the Manta yet. Probably he's going to hold it for any sort of defensive purposes. Already focusing now on the top. Radiant don't really care to make anything happen right now. Trouf is finally there. He has the Black Hole. This is going to be the last hurrah. You can guarantee that if they lose this fight, they will be forced to concede and wave the white flag. Weave laid out. Rude being kited out on the side here. Being distracted. Arteezy in the meantime eats a Soul Assumption. Already below half-life, but he does have that Aegis, so it won't matter. He's going to get the tower easy. Looking to end it. Nice mechanism lays out. Pock the BKB, making a move in. Manta was already used. They pop the Aegis. Sleesel laying out the goo, laying out the quills. One by one they go. Now making advancement on Dable. Arteezy should turn his sights on the rack zone, finish it off, but he's making a move on Dable. Man fight, here we go. Nice shallow grave. He's going to be forced to step back. There's the BKB. Better late than never, but it does not catch Arteezy as he steps out. And now Dazzle, under the gun, forced to step back. Arteezy happy to sit in there. Has a Lincoln Sphere to help and get out. Lays out a few kills. Still alive in the back. Now going to town on the racks. Dable back in the fight now, lays out the stun, trying to take out the Dazzle. Before he goes, puts out the Poison Touch. And Sleesel already back in the base, does buy back, and they actually managed to hold the racks. I don't know if it was worth it though. They fed over a lot of kills for it. They're really making the Dire team work for it. They get the mid racks though. So it is a bit of a defeat for the team. And it looks like they're not going to throw any sort of GG. They feel confident that maybe if they get something going their way, they could turn it around. Bristleback with some new inherited gold. Picks up the heart. Already at 3k life. Obviously the Radiant team are going to try their best to just avoid dealing with him. But in the top lane, quick turnaround, Malphus. There goes the Viper. Quickly falls. Now Arteezy will fall to the creeps. Trouf, nice use of the Ghost Scepter, will prevent him from taking the 2. Arteezy trades 1 for 1. He doesn't really care though. He's got 3.8k in the bank. no real possible threat of their base being pushed by the Radiant team, so he's just going to wait this one out on the bench, take the time to get a nice drink, maybe go to the restroom, and
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
just kind of step out of the mix there. Brood in the meantime,
Radiant structures are fortified.
he's going to sit in
I'll
the
return the
afterlife as
favor.
well. And yes, this
Radiant's
is
bottom
drop
tower
enabled.
is under attack.
Turn rate fast for everyone in Dota TV. If you want to stop by twitch.tv/Kotlguy, you can hang out with me, shoot the shit if you will. And the drops are still enabled as I am a ticketed official caster for the NEL. Drop 1.7k in the bank. Already building towards that BKB Ogre Club. That would be pretty nice. He's gonna... It could all come down to him. If he manages to get that BKB, it's really going to come down to a nice, properly played black hole. Black hole. Gem, though, picked up. Bounty Hunter is not going to be able to scavenge as much as he can. There goes a track, but a DD Sleesel. He might want to fight this here. Rotation needs to come in. Sleesel's taking too long to take down, though, for 3. Hook shot laid out by Mike. Catches Trout. Trout forced to push himself out of the mix. Now Mike's gonna need some help. You gotta remember, Arteezy's dead, and Dazzle's too far away to help. A lot of the Radiant are down here. They kind of have the numbers in this one. They're pushing for Sleesel. He is very tanky. He still has over a K life to his name. When Ranger moves in, they cast a Shackle. It will be succeeded. Mike, in the meantime, though, forced to run to the north. Sleesel, under the gun, take a lot of damage. Will follow the Soul Assumption. And now they're making moves on Mike. Arteezy back from the dead. I don't know if he's going to go ahead and rotate here. He looks like he's running to the top lane. And Mike will fall. And add a little more track gold to the Radiant team. So just when you thought the Radiant team had their backs against the wall, they get a couple of free kills, a little more track gold. And they're right back in it. 2.4k. They do have to withstand the power of Arteezy on the Dire team, but if they're able to push through the tankiness of Sleesel plus the disable of Wind Ranger, they may be able to get this one out. Perseverance by Dazzle. Are they looking to do double sets of Lincoln Spheres? A double set of Lincoln Spheres, potentially, to really add all the survivability they can to Arteezy. Fall line, how's it going, brother? Welcome. Welcome to the chat. Radiant, Bob hanging around the mid lane. You do have Yugi in the top. He's got the smart build here. He's got the Sage. He's looking to build into that Heaven's Halberd to try to disarm Arteezy from laying out serious amounts of damage. If you allow the Radiant team to get the items they need, they could pull this one out. They kind of have a better set of synergy here to make something happen. That's my own personal opinion. This Dire team was more about the initiation, more about the pickoff, more about single set damage. Not really any sort of real AoE except for the quills. And that's something more the Radiant team have. You got the Dragon Knight with the Dragon form, of course, obviously Enigma, laying out the Midnight Pulse plus the ultimate. A lot of bursts from the familiars, and of course, extra check gold doesn't hurt. So I don't know. I would have to give a slight advantage to the Radiant team as far as the team structure, but you're dealing with an Arteezy who's just very farmed for his team. And there we go to add more to it. MKB picked up. He doesn't really care to go for any sort of buyback. The track's already laid out. He wants to make a move, gets the Death Pact. Thinks about making a mover, but the quick escape gets him out of there. I also would have liked to see, I can't remember the bans, but I would have liked to have seen that Baden picked up instead of the Dazzle this game. A Baden Shield obviously can remove the track. Oh, they're making moves here. Yugi gonna be forced to step away in TP, but it will not matter. Doesn't make it quite far away enough and will be quickly picked off by Arteezy. Bounty Hunter with no buyback available. He's going to be forced a 4 versus 5 fight here. This is going to be even more rough for the Radiant team. This could be the last hurrah here. As Trouf, it might come down to him laying out a very nice black hole. I don't know if he'll get it though. Sleesel very confident, very tanky, happy to sit right into the base. Midnight Pulse laid down. Dable shows up, got the Orchid. There goes the Weave. A nice defensive weave. There we go, big BKB. No one's able to stop him though. They're trying to take out Arteezy, but the Grave holds him up a little bit longer. Trout trying to move through with the Ghost Scepter is caught out here. Arteezy is forced to step back. If he dies, he does not have the buyback, so he will escape. The Radiant team trying to make a turn here. It's a 1-for-1 trade. No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's only... Technically now, it's a 1-for-1 trade. Because they took out the Bounty Hunter earlier. They take out Mike. Arteezy managed to escape by the hair of his chinny chin chin with the extra assistance of Dazzle. After I was just saying I'd like to see Abaddon instead of Dazzle. Dazzle puts in his work, saves his buddy Arteezy. And he'll live to fight another day and build up some buyback gold so he can play, you know, a little more aggressive in the next fight. Bounty Hunter in the mid-time, back in the fight. After his recent death, hanging around the top lane. He's going to want to get that Heaven's Halberd as soon as possible. It's one of the only hopes they have to really shut down Arteezy. Kill the cheerleader, or save the cheerleader, save the world. That really doesn't have anything to do with this game. I kind of wanted to make it into a kill the Arteezy, win the game, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Another Roche quickly taken down, and now we're going to have some cheese on the field. And it does look like potentially Wind Ranger is going to be the cheese holder of this game. Oh, man. And they're not even going to hand over the Aegis this time to Clinks. They're going to hand it over to Sleesel. This gives Sleesel the opportunity to just really play as aggressive as he wants. He can run right into the fight, force the Radiant team to use any sort of skills or anything to try to stop him, and allowing Arteezy to just come in from the outskirts and get whatever kill he wants. Brooding a lot of damage. So Tralf steps in, pops the mech, pops the Ghost Scepter. Here comes the Grave on Arteezy, pops the BKB, really takes out Brood right away. Tralf will not be critted down, turns right around, lays out the Malphite stun on Arteezy. Arteezy now taking a lot of damage, will fall. Tralf narrowly avoids the power shot from the north. Mike hanging nearby, he has the hook shot, he can't find the right opportunity to make the turnaround though. Sleesel eating a bit of damage here. They're all alive, buyback, laid out by the Viper, getting right back into the fight. Now Mike falls as well. The Radiant team are turning it right around. Buyback was put out by Arteezy as he's making his way back to the fight. Radiant have to be careful here.
Middle tower is under
Dable
attack.
still in his ultimate form. They're making a move on Sleesel. Sleesel still has his Aegis and all that tankiness there. Wind Ranger hanging around through here by the creeps, and Arteezy making a move down the mid lane. Will be spotted out. Viper strike laid out. He does not have the BKB for another 3 seconds. Trying to make a turn. Viper kiting back and forth. Lincoln's put out on Arteezy.
Dire's top tower
This is the
under
momentum they
attack.
need.
Radiant's middle tower
They're trying to take advantage of. Oh man, Sleesel is just too fat. This is going to take way too much time. It's going to take too much time to get him down one time, and then he's going to come back with the Aegis. It's not worth it. They need to pull out of this, but they won't. They're caught in a shackle. They're eating so much damage, and Dable is going to fall here.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It is. Oh wow! What? When did Arteezy fall? Didn't even notice that happen. Arteezy happened to fall. The Radiant are winning this right here. Yugi, in the meantime, though, eating damage from the hilltop. Viper making a move to the north. Sleesel back from the dead. Big black hole laid on Tralf, trying to hold him in place, but he is very tanky. The power shot. The Ghost Scepter. He's on the run. He needs to get away from the Quills. He will not be able to do it. Sleesel. He wants it. They want to clear him out. Tralf on the run here. Doesn't have push stick. He has a sheep stick. Holy moly. He's making a run. The Quills are landing, though. 2 more seconds, and he can push out, but Mike gotta step right in and shut him right down.
The strongest enemy I've grappled with.
Wow, I was trying to catch everything that could happen in that fight. They're still going here. Yugi eats a shackle, eating a lot of damage here by the Wind Ranger. Track flies, trying to man up now, putting on the hurt, but the creeps taking him down. Nicely, Ghost Scepter dodges the power strike. Blink and shackle. Whoa, the push stick up the hill to get away and avoid the shackle. Nice moves by Yuki to get away from any potential danger. Power shot flies, will not catch him. Mike, no hook shot available just yet. And Yugi's kind of still on the run here. Is forced to run to the north. He does have that TP to get out of there, though. Now they're making a move towards the top set of racks here. Laying out the damage. Still no Arteezy in the fight, though. Rotations being had. Dable shows up. He's got his ultimate pop. Tralf, no black hole. Ready to go now. Yugi lays out the track on Sleesel. They need to really focus everyone else down. Not really about Sleesel. They're not making a move on Mike. Trying to burst him down. They need the focus. Sleesel, though, doesn't care. He's right in the mix, laying out the Quills as much as possible. And now, Fanasoyan under the gun, eats the soul assumption, will fall, and now they're thinking about making a move on Sleesel, but Sleesel is just so tanky. He's just gonna sit in there and just kind of wait things out. Clockwork shows right back up, quickly takes out the bounty hunter turnaround. Sleesel just still fighting it out, just pulling these two out of the mix, and they allow the bounty hunter to get picked off. Arteezy back in the fight, lots of damage. Doesn't have the the buyback rather now. Just gonna go ahead and farm up some gold for it. Mike, in the meantime, was forced to step back. He knows that when he initiates into a fight alongside Sleesel, he's going to be the main focus. They don't really want to take a lot of action on Sleesel early. They need to focus their fire on everyone else instead of him. And then if he happens to be around at the end, maybe they'll fish him off.
Radiant's bottom tower
Bottom
is
lane,
under
dirty
attack.
little rat Arteezy takes out the tier
Radiant's
2.
bottom tower has fallen.
Extra assistance from his teammate with the Lincoln Sphere. Did he manage his? Nope. He does. Yep. Indeed, Dazzle going for a second Lincoln Sphere game. It's more so just kind of let's pull to survivability and put everything on Arteezy. If I did have to say so. I mean, unless they're really nervous about a Viper Strike, I mean, I think it's more so to kind of help out their comrade Arteezy. Dibble, very nice. Got the Reaver in hand. A little extra survivability. Not much to offer in damage, at least when you compare it to Arteezy's big damage. But it's something. It's a little bit of something. Viper in the meantime, looks like he might get... He's trying to just slowly piddle his way into a butterfly, it looks like. He does have the Tailsman ready to go. Of course, that will help against Arteezy. Arteezy, though, in the meantime,
Radiant's top barracks
just kind of ratting it up and going to the top lane. Gets out that first set of racks and will run. Just dirty. Just a dirty little kick in the nuts. Slipping his way through and getting the racks from the top lane. Like a dirty dog. Knows that maybe that this game goes on. Might be having a bit of a hard time. Here we go, Yugi making a move in. Lays out the track. Track, of course, goes right through the Lincoln Sphere. Now Mike and Disc both spotted out here, but on the side, they're kind of split up here. They catch out the Dazzle. Dazzle will be slowed down, but initiations here by Mike. Mike catching out a couple of them off on their own. Will try to cog him and push himself away. So we got two different fights happening here, and meantime, the bottom lane... I'm Arteezy. Don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I do. Laying out the damage, and of course it is a back door. It does not matter though, he will get it. And of course when you're dealing with Sleesel, Sleesel could just slow them down and wait this out. I mean, this is pretty much going to be the game plan for the rest of the time. Radiant are forced to rotate, forced to make something happen on Arteezy. Arteezy pops a BKB, making a run toward the north, but a nice black hole all set away for Arteezy himself. And they take him down, buyback easily put out. And Sleesel finishes off what was left of the Radiant team in the mid lane. This leaves the Radiant with one Rax in the top, and both now in the bottom lane, naked and available for the picking. This is just really going to be too hard for the Radiant to get out of this one. They already are calling it GG. They know that they really don't have much to offer. If they really try to make any sort of push happen, it's clear that Arteezy is going to want to sneak in on the outskirts, get the Rat Dota going. So it's just a matter of time. It's just kind of more of how long the Radiant were, want to try to hold this one out. Over 1,500k gold lead for the team. Arteezy finishes off the top lane, just really stinking this one up a bit. Shackle on the familiar. And here we go now, going to town, just kind of sealing the deal for the team. Just a matter of time. Trying to get the quick finish off. And they finally have completed the Mega Creeps. Then they're going to go ahead and try to take out Sleesel. The ever so tanky Sleesel. And he will fall. But it will not matter. Dire happy. They got the Mega Creeps. Radiant were unable to hold their own. And now they will just kind of watch their immediate fail. but they're not eager to call the GG. They really want to force Arteezy to work for it, I suppose. Brood really doesn't want to play this one out. He knows that his team doesn't have any sort of power to push it through, but why not? Let's go for one last hurrah down the mid lane, right? Who cares if they just kind of slip through the back skirts and all of the creeps start to swarm the base? Let's just fight for fun. Dazzle spots out the illusion rune, and we're just going to see the the curtain call for this game is coming into mix right now. Take your bows, everyone. It was a pleasure casting this game. Of course, as I said before, you can find me over at twitch.tv/Kotlguy, and of course, you can follow me on the Twitter at Kotlguy as well, in case you want to get those notifications on when I'm going live or hanging out, or in case you want to get any more additional information about the game or about NEL, Neo Dota, whatever you'd like. Radiant balls to the wall Dota. They leave the one Enigma behind to defend. The quick game by Mike. He's going to isolate them. He's going to take himself out of there and force them to be stuck in that pig pen. Try to put out the damage in the mid lane. Dable's going to get the tier 3, but the Dire showed up from behind. Arteezy's going to be back in 7 seconds, but not necessary. They call out the GG, and that will be it. I would want to thank you folks for coming by and hanging out with me. I will ponder the idea of casting the second game, so feel free to come by the Twitch and hang out. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. It is later in the night. PL gal, huh? Wouldn't that be nice? If you guys haven't noticed, and for the people come back, I have this new little addition right down here. You can see DotaDB. That's right, DotaDB.GameGuys.com.
New game host.
It's kind of a, newer-ish site, but they actually have a lot of awesome data there. If you go check it out, you can put in your own name and see all sorts of neat statistics, and it's a nice alternative to Dota Buff. Gives you a lot of neat things to look over, and how you're playing, and who you're playing, and who's the best at playing what, and who's your best hero, and it's really cool. You should check it out sometime. New game hosted. It's already got 9 out of 10 players. We're going to just kind of wait it out. Also follow the Twitch, of course. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit follow on that Twitch button. I really would like to get a little more follows so that way I can offer to everyone more variety as far as quality, so that people who don't have quite as good internet connection can watch the stream more flawlessly by turning down the quality a little bit. And of course, I'm not granted that sort of power until the stream is just, a little more popular. So it's more for you guys, it's not for myself. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and link it. I said it, but I'm going to link it. That's the site. It's pretty cool. Got a neat little thing. You can see up top, along the top, there's global stats and hero stats. You can see a lot of useful information. So while we wait for a game to finish up and get set up, I would believe. Oh, shoot. No, it's already going. Ooh. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness gracious. Boom, boom. We're not Neo Dota. There we go. Update. Alright. So anyways, what I was saying get some cool stuff here. So if I look at global stats, let's see here. We'll look at team match because that's what's important. You know, people who play in like draft and team games. So popularity right now, you can see Crystal Maiden has moved to #1 spot in team games, right behind her Rubik. That's kind of new. And of course Clockwork 3, Venomancer 4. And you can see like the latest updates. As of recently, Zeus has ascended 3 positions as far as popularity. And no surprises, Pudge is the #1 pick in public gaming right now. By win ranking, you can look over. Here, I want you guys to see this. Just, alright? Just please. Set a window capture here. This should be good. Boom, look at that. Isn't that fancy? Winning this week in a team game this week, you can see. Look at that. That's interesting. Beastmaster's up there. Beastmaster is way up there. That's interesting. We'll have Beastmaster flavor this week. That's cool. You can see the KDA of the week of all time, monthly. I mean, the site just started up. They're taking a lot of information from a lot of games. You can see a lot of cool stuff. So definitely check it out. Go ahead and bring that out now. That's enough plugging that. So it's been a week. You know, I haven't been on very often. A lot of stuff's happened. Dire Tide's over. No more Dire Tide. Dream League concluded. Congratulations to your winners. I don't know if I want to spoil it or not in case people haven't seen it yet, but you probably should have. Rising Stars is disbanded. That's a bummer. Demon has joined MVP Phoenix and is now flying out to Korea and will be duking it out with Blitz. Ice is out of SEA and Miracle has moved into Team Titan. Good stuff. And somehow I became the amateur caster of the week, according to this amateur casting bot on Reddit. On what I believe is Dota 2 Casted. I was featured on the amateur casters of the week, so I thought that was pretty cool. It ain't going to MLG and all the other cool stuff that all other casters get to do, but it's my little own personal victory. Right? Right. On my way up indeed. This Friday, if you didn't know, is the NEL All-Star match. NEL All-Star match. That's going to be hosted over at twitch.tv/neodota, where they've graciously let me cast over there from time to time, but when I'm not, I'm over here with you guys. Anyways, this Friday is the All-Star match. It's going to be the top 10 players duking it out. I believe the number 1, number 2 will be the captains. And we'll see. Vaught has said that we potentially could do the multiple casters setup again. We'll see how it goes. Whether that's the case or not, I will be there as a spectator, for sure. With that said, the game has started, so I'm going to go ahead and switch things over here. And we'll let the games begin. And I've been getting a little more excited, believe it or not, about drafting. Now, given this is NEOdota's NEL League, and not everyone in this league is a very good drafter, but I've been studying drafting a lot more, especially more in the competitive scene. I was reading fucking Mad's blog about the drafting analysis in the DK vs Navi game from MLG Columbus, and I thought that was just amazing. I really wish we would do more of those, or any other competitive players or any other captains would put more information out about how the draft went down, or their observation on certain games drafts, because it was just so much more good information to take in about the styles of drafting and how much thought they put into it. And you consider that they have to make those decisions within like a minute's time or less, maybe a little bit more, but no surprises pretty much from all these drafts. We will see the usual suspects. Clockwork is the number 1 pickup. I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing him banned first or picked first. It happens 90% of the time, and no surprises there. Right behind him, Elder Titan is banned out. If we look at the official chart here, Elder Titan is actually the number 3. He falls behind Visage at number 2 and Clockwork number 1. So we'll see how it goes here.
10 seconds remaining.
Will look like the Radiant are going to get first pick, so they're not going to immediately throw out the ban on the Clockwork. They might wait and try to pick it up themselves, though ixmike has been a fan of doing it. They might look to get rid of the Venomancer. I know Mike typically is not a big fan of the hero, doesn't like going against it, will like to pick it up if that opportunity is there, but I don't know. I think Venomancer is a little overrated. I don't know. He didn't seem very successful at MLG. A lot of teams couldn't really roll with him. He's kind of just more that nuisance. He always has that great map awareness and extra long-range slow and great additional pushing power if need be, but I don't know. I think he's just kind of that flavor of the month right now, so we'll see. Thanks, Faultline. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
10 seconds.
All right, Lich banned first for the Dire team on their first ban, and Blue Stars will return and actually ban out the Clockwork. They know Mike played Clockwork last game. They're going to return with the Timber Sauce, so this leaves a couple options out there still. Visage, and whoa, look at that. Whoa, what is happening here? Quick set of picks. Each team knows what they wanted to get and got what they wanted. And, wow, they're going to go ahead and just kind of throw the early OD pick up there and just kind of throw it for Artur. I mean, I guess it's pretty much more of a respect pickup. Arteezy decides on who he wants to play, and maybe they just pick it up first. They don't feel, you know, they're kind of just feeling like they can get what they want. They're not too worried about handing over the Visage and the Venomancer to the Dire team, which they're going to go ahead and capitalize, get the early support out of the way, and now it allows the Dire team to kind of build towards that mid lane.
Dire team ban.
And a Nyx Assassin picked up, which I wouldn't be surprised if Mike jumps on the Nyx Assassin roll. He does do it from time to time, really likes to roll in that off lane. Do you take off the hat and beard when you're casting full screen? To be honest, I do. I do. Well, you know, I want to be able to focus more on the actual casting itself. I don't want to be disrupted with the beard, you know, and the delay, like having to speak through it, and plus you got to consider the heat and the itchiness. I figure I would provide better quality casting instead of just a spectacle all the time of myself being Kotlguy. So I hope that doesn't, like,
10 seconds remaining.
You know, make you guys think any less of me, but I do want to be honest, and that is what happens. I'm sorry if I shatter your personal image. What the hell is this?
Radiant team pick.
A Brewmaster pickup by the Dire. That's interesting.
Oh my.
Anyways, just gonna go ahead and move back to the Radiant team. And they grabbed the Enigma and the Rubik. This is weird. Enigma picked up second. Now, the only thing I can think of technically is that Trouf lost
10
as Enigma
seconds
last
remaining.
game. Maybe he wants to redeem himself and throw into another Enigma game,
5
and they just
seconds
knock it out early. They're
remaining.
kind of just picking selfishly what they want to play. They do get Rubik third,
Reserve time.
but wow, this is going to be an interesting game.
Pudge.
Brewmaster, oh man,
Dire
Pudge as
team
well.
ban.
Woo, this is some selfish Dota draft here by the Radiant team. I mean, it's gonna be a crowd pleaser. I mean, we got black holes, we got hooks, Rubik steals, and this is this is gonna be a fun game to watch. But
10 seconds remaining.
and Ryo Boros is back in the mix too. This is gonna be a fun
5
game. A lot of
seconds
familiar
remaining.
names here. As you can see, Mason, the ever emotional Mason. ixmike and Sleesel
Reserve
up there
time.
on the Dire teams for some names, and Ryo Burrows, Brood, Juby, Arteezy, and Trouf all on one lane. So I guess we're gonna have to see some talent picked up. Wow, I'm just like really dumbfounded. I feel like they like the extra survivability with the Ultimate of Brewmaster. Of course, the extra miss chance on the likes of the Outworld will help as well. But
Radiant team
Pudge
ban.
typically thrives in the mid lane when played, but they also have that
Dire team
Outworld.
pick.
Are they going to make a shift here? Is Arteezy going to hand over the mid lane to the Pudge? Is he going to play Pudge himself? Is he going to just keep the mid lane and Pudge is going to step off into the side lane? They're kind of just picking what they want pub style here. I guess we'll wait to see how that turns out. But the Dire here, they're going to need to look to pick into more late game, I'd have to assume here. They got the Broodmaster, which is, I mean,
10
what is there to
seconds
say about a
remaining.
Broodmaster? We don't get to see him played very often at all. So it's
5
going to be interesting to
seconds
see what kind of
remaining.
role he's going to fill. The Radiant are pretty confident they need to get that late game. They pull out
Reserve
the
time.
ultimate late game and Medusa. They also have gotten rid of the Pugna Razor. And the Mirana is the counter pickup, or the counter ban rather, for the Dire team. Brewmaster. Wow. I don't know. I mean, this draft has gone kind of sideways here. I can't really predict what's going to be picked up next. I mean, for theory crafting's sake, I would say Nyx Assassin of the off lane. They could potentially roll the Vino Visage together along with this mystery. No, they could roll together with the Brewmaster. They feel pretty confident in the off lane. There isn't much of an off lane to offer right now, or at least no solid off lane that we would typically see. Unless they roll Trouf off lane with that Enigma. It's been done. It is possible. You have the easy deny. It can be played. But they're going to need to get a potential solo. Potentially someone that could go up against either the Pudge or the Outworld. Now, Bad Rider's still available.
10
And if they were
seconds
confident
remaining.
they would be going against a Pudge in the mid lane, I would say the Bad Rider would be a worthy
5
pickup. But,
seconds
they might
remaining.
need someone who can play mid as well as advance well into the late game. Lone Druid can do that.
Radiant
It's
team
been done. Burning does it. He's played Lone Druid mid lane, but I don't know if that's going to be the case this time. They might roll the Brewmaster mid. What do I know, right? What do I know? Brewmaster might be played as a mid lane. We don't get to see it very often. Not a hero I play very often.
Weaver.
And they pick up the Weaver. They want the elusiveness. They don't want to be too concerned with the lockdown that Lone Druid could bring. And they're not too worried, as there's not much else disable available. Except the RNG-ness of the Entangle. Brewmaster does have that slight kind of slow. And Nyx Assassin has an Impale, which is no longer targetable. So they're feeling pretty confident playing the elusive hero as Weaver. They already know they're not going to have much as far as true team fight. I mean, they have a Black Hole to set something up, but they want another hero that can kind of be elusive and kind of put out damage from afar, similar to the Clinks last time. So they're going to go ahead with the Weaver instead. And, I mean, I know we still have to get into the game and do the introductions, but our tour is on the OD. And I wouldn't be
10
surprised if he
seconds remaining.
goes mid lane. So Ryo Boros, former NEL Season
seconds
1 leader
remaining.
as far as ranking, he's going to be picking the Pudge up right away. Fortunately, we don't get to see Ryo Boros too often, as he is dedicating himself more into school. Unfortunately, didn't get a lot of success in the recent MLG with Pretty Boy Swag, but he is a
Prepare
solid
for
player. He's
battle.
definitely the man of the team, and we're happy to see him back for a little late night NEL action. And we welcome him back with open arms as he looks like he will jump on the Pudge. In the blue roll, we'll go ahead and roll through the rest of the introductions for the Radiant team. What's your dick like, aka Brood? Uh-oh. Did I lose my sound? My game is completely frozen. You guys seeing this? My game is completely just frozen still. Crashed potentially. Let's go ahead and shut this down. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. We will close this down. What is happening? Fantastic. Fantastic. Lovely. Wow, wow, wow. Where is Dota? Not responding. No surprises there. We will end that task. Pick this up. Apologies on the black screen. Apparently my Dota shit on itself. We're going to go ahead and start it right back up and get right back in the mix. Alright, now of course I have to wait because Valve hates it when you start up a game right away before it got to properly close down. Heavens to Betsy, right? Let's get Dota 2 going, okay? This is quite embarrassing. And unprofessional. You thinking LD mid? I wouldn't mind seeing LD mid. Burning style, as said before. Game is safe to leave. We don't want that. We want to get right back in it. Hope anyone in Dota TV world will forgive me as I had to step out of the game. Drops are enabled through the stream. I am a ticketed holder. As long as you are as well, then you can get some item drops. We're going to jump right back in the mix. The lanes will obviously be chosen. I can finish out the introductions and throw up this chart right here. Here we go. We're back. Sorry about that, everyone in Dota TV. We're back in the mix here. And as you can see, the Weaver. Juby going to play the Weaver in the safe lane bottom. Going to be accompanied with the babysitting of Brood on the Rubik. Around your mid lane, you do have... is that Trouf? Is that Trouf? Yep, Trouf does want redemption for his last game. He is going to play the Jungle Enigma once more. Artur on his very popular OD in the mid lane. We are going to see him go against the LD in the mid lane. A little bit of that DK burning mid LD action here. He did go against this. Wasn't this like the same matchup? I believe this was the same matchup in Columbus where he went OD versus an LD and did hand over an early kill. They did end up turning it around and winning the game if I do remember correctly, but he did have a bit of a hard time, so they're going to have a bit of a throwback here. Meanwhile, Mason in the top lane on the Brewmaster, accompanied by Lone Wolf on the Venomancer, as well as Sleesel on the Visage. They're playing a bit of an aggressive top lane here. They're going to be going against Ryu, who is just not having the easiest time. Forced to run all the way back. He's going to be gaining levels very slowly. And we'll see if he's able to... Oh, quick first blood laid out as I'm about to rotate to the bottom. It does look like Mike on the Nyx Assassin will hand it over, unfortunately. Probably caught out here by the Rubik and Trouf. Sorry about missing that first blood. Thank goodness I didn't bet anything like Mott did. Hand off some coddle nips. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can just go ahead and ignore that. Mike right back in the fight already. Typically someone who's a little more proficient in the off lane. Unfortunately had to hand over the first blood. He's going to have to play it careful. Doesn't really have any sort of true escape mechanism as a Nyx Assassin until level 6, which is obviously what he's going to be building towards, so that him and perhaps the Venomancer can provide a little more roam in the mid game and get some early pickoffs. They're allowing a lot of space here in the top lane for the Brewmaster to get farm, who really can be the all-star of this game if he's able to get a lot of farm. Brewmaster is not going to have too much hard competition this game. I mean, he's going to be going against a Weaver, but I don't know. I'm feeling pretty confident in the Brewmaster. We'll see if that works out for him. He's going to have to deal with the elusiveness of the Weaver. And as a melee, you can't get easily kited by that. They are making advancements here on Ryu. They're really putting it to him. Lone eating a lot of damage, though, forced to back it up. You're going to have to play careful. Leading the pack, Arteezy on the OD, 19-7, right behind the Brewmaster in the top lane, 18-1. And Arteezy is going against the LD, who is not very successful so far. He's 8-1 as far as CS is concerned. All the meanwhile, Successful set of pulls here by the bottom lane. They're kind of pulling the tower, or pulling the creeps back into the tower, allowing Libble to get some easy farm here. It's going to force Mike to commit in the lane if he wants to, you know, put up any sort of threat. He's going to have to hide it out and just kind of soak XP from afar. He's going to have to be careful to avoid any potential danger in the nearby jungle down here. Is going to run into Brood. Brood lifts him up, throws him right back down. Tralf is nearby. He might go for the Malphus. No, he will not. Just a little too far to commit, and they will step back and force Mike away, but he is happy to pull away the creeps and get a little bit of his own farm. He's doing a nice job here, kind of prolonging them from running into the tower and dying quickly. Wants to get the lane to settle a little higher. Arteezy makes advance to the top lane. Ryu gets the hook on Lone Wolf, but he's being slowed by the Grave Chill. Soul Assumption flies, but it will not be enough. Here comes Artur. Astral laid out, and now he wants to get Lone. He sees the Courier as well. Courier dancing back and forth. He managed to get the Venomancer. Now he's making a turn on the Visage. Cook laid out, but the quick blowdown and a little bit of deja vu from last game. Arteezy gets an early double kill. Astral quickly shuts down the LD. And he's making moves on Ryu. He wants to get 3 kills, but he will not. He will step back and bottle up instead. So 4-0 already for the Radiant team. Arteezy with another double kill for his second game straight, and Enigma gets a kill as well in the bottom, taking out Mike. And now they want Lone, who will feed potentially again. Oh no, this is disastrous right now for the Dire team. 6-1, but they finally get on the board. But they're gonna need a lot more than that. Midas Recipe quickly picked up by Mason. Knows that his team is already in a bit of a jam. We can expect to see some Mason migraines. Arteezy eats the entangle. He's going to be forced to use Astral defensively. They're going to try to block it off. If he can get another entangle, he will do it, but Tralf shows up. Cock blocks the potential gank. There's an entangle, but it will be too little too late, as now they're going to lay out the damage on the bear. Try to get the gold. They will not get it. Instead, he's going to go ahead and potentially go for the deny. Will not do it. I'm surprised Lone Wolf has a level 5 now after the early feeds. He's 1 and 2. And Brew does finish the Midas in the top lane and already 500k, or 500 gold rather, sorry, in the bank. Ryu, level 4, is going to need about, a little more levels, a little more XP before he can really go into his Pudge element, if you will. Brood, content, pulling the lane. Mike's still very far from his level 6. Gonna step to the bottom lane. The rune not there though. The rune will be in the top lane. It is a regen. And as you can see, not much vision by either team to see where the rune is. There is one by the Dire team down here. They do know that the rune is top, but Radiant don't have much to offer. In the meantime, Visage gets a pick off on Ryu. And they quickly take him down and get another kill on the board. And allow this Panda to get even more space. I don't know if is Mason going to be able to step out later in the game and really pull it together for the rest of his team and really deal with the early lane advantage that this Radiant team already has. No sign of any sort of early Midas here by the LD. I don't think we can expect him to build into an early Radiance build unless he gets the space. But I don't see Arteezy on the OD venturing out unless he gets bored. I don't see him venturing out from the mid lane anytime soon. Tralf nearby, he is level 6, has the black hole ready to go, and he's going into that early mechanism this time around. He's getting a lot better farm this time around. Last game when he was Enigma in the jungle, he was getting a lot of threats.
My timeline snaps.
And then Weaver falls in the bottom lane. Not too sure what happened. Tried to commit. Gets Nyx Assassin, but will fall for it. Meanwhile, mid lane, BK is flying out. Arteezy gets the last hit in. They manage to take out the LD. 8-3 your score. Radiant's still kind of getting ahead in this one. Now pulling ahead in the mid lane. Are they going to go for the push? I don't know if they can. Mike shows up to the party, not level 6 yet. Lays out the Impale, hits the creeps, but not much else. Arteezy lays out the Astral, has the ult, wants to get him down. 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit. But Mike, laying out the Carapace, slows him down. Doesn't allow Arteezy to get the easy ultimate. Now rotations by the rest of the Dire team. LD shows right back up, summons a new bear. Now the rotation over. He's trying to make something happen and does end up catching Mike with the ultimate. Takes him out quickly, TPs away, and will not pay the price. Meanwhile, Ryu, he's level 5 now. Happy to have that little extra length of the hook. Won't be able to do much against Brood, but if he catches Visage out on his own, might be able to make something happen. Grave Chill, though, he is going to be kited here. Mason making a maneuver in. Ryu's going to be forced to step back. And now, coming in from below, there's a DD there. It is going to be denied. Mason's still farming away here. Phase boots in hand, 500 to bank, used the Midas, now up to 660. Meanwhile, Mike in the bottom lane, about one more creep away, will be level 6. That will be extremely helpful, allow them to get a little more setup, will allow them to potentially look through the jungle for Trout, and maybe get an easy pick off there. Trout a lot closer to his mechanism. Rubik in the meantime gets the early Midas, believe it or not. A little more Midas gaming here. He does get to have a very good time for a Rubik, but of course they are kind of paying the price for it. They don't really have any wards on the map, no vision at all. They can't see the ganks coming. They can't see any sort of mobility by the Dire team, but they're not too worried about it. They'd rather go into early Midas support. And in top lane, Ryu's finally reached level 6 himself. So both Mike and Ryu were having a bit of trouble there. I would say Mike had a little more trouble. He did feed over a couple kills. Meanwhile, mid lane, Mike, with his new level 6 Vendetta, gets the hit, but will not be able to follow through with anything. Forced on the run. Here comes the Astral and the rotation by Brood. This is going to be very bad for Mike. Telekinesis throws up in the air. One more hit should do it, and they will get it. Rubik with the last hit. They finish out Mike, no problem. Not enough to offer. Lone Wolf being exactly that, forced to step back, lay out the wards. And Mike already has a bitter taste in his mouth with the Venomancer. Not going to be happy with this one so far. Ryu throws out the hook. It will whiff. And LD now forced to step into the jungle to try to get any sort of relative farm. 1,200 in the bank. We'll probably look to get that early Midas, but when the Rubik on the other team gets a Midas quicker than you, it's not looking too good. Arteezy going for the early push stick. Pretty standard build on the OD. Laying a little bit of harassment. The wards are being set out there, but not much else to offer. They are level 4.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Ryu nearby, finally level 6 and happy. He's going to try to make a roam happen here. He's going to go,
Dire's bottom
let's see, I'd like to see him go into that push stick. Nice pickup by Visage, going for the medallion build. If Weaver decides to build into that Desolator, it will synergize very well. It will be nice to have that extra minus armor to quickly shut down any sort of Mason farm that he could throw together. Mason, in the meantime, does pick up the early Vladimirs. And Carson already has his Midas recipe in the bank. Mike in the bottom lane trying to make up for his recent feed, farming away. Radiant, though, very confident, looking to scout out the top lane, potentially go for the tier 1. Mason is nearby, but no other teammates in the house. Medallion picked up on the Visage, now making rotates in. They scout him out. Ryu catches Mason, the hook in, the quick ultimate by Panda. They're thinking about making a turn, will run back. But here comes Visage, they're making advancements in. Astral defensively laid out. R2 are in a bit of trouble here. Will be forced to lay out the ultimate. Sleesel taking a lot of damage. Lone Wolf will fall to the Fade Bolt. Killing spree for Brood. They take out the Visage as well. Now a 2-for-1 trade, but they do get Arteezy. Now Brood will fall. 2-for-2. Slight advantage for the Dire team. Ryu and Trout going to be forced to step back. He does have the BKB in case they decide to pursue this, but they will not, and Trout will leave. Good defense laid out by the Dire team. They were able to defend the tier 1 in the top lane and able to take down Arteezy as well as the Rubik. They did lose a couple of supports in exchange. And in the meanwhile, bottom lane, Weaver has been getting a little more extra free farm. Midas obviously ready to go. Has Perseverance. 600 in the bank. You're looking at potentially what could be a 16-minute to 17-minute Lincoln Sphere. Moves on the top lane. Brood taking a lot of damage. Will quickly be taken apart. Caught out on his own. And Now Dyer making a move in. They want Arteezy. They want to get that ensnare. They get it. They get the entangle. It forces him to push himself out of there. But now he's taking a lot of damage here. Forced to step back. He has an Astral 1 second to prolong it. Will he cast it? No, he will not. Just kind of falls there. And the Dyer, after an early shutdown, stepping right back into it. This is very similar to last game. Last game the same thing happened. Arteezy had an early run. Got a couple of kills in very early. Then the other team got a breath of fresh air, and then it kind of just all fell apart. So we'll see if that's the same thing this time around. Cecil, as I said before, he's got a medallion in hand. Will eat a hook by Ryu. Gonna be too much, and Ryu quickly shuts down the weak little support. Will step back. Good spotting. Good game position there. Ryu to get the easy pick off on the support. Lone Wolf trying to get any sort of relative farm in the jungle, laying out the wards. Has a Midas as well. Midas Gaming is alive and strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Midases already in this game. Obviously the advantage for the Radiant team and having 3 of them. Yasha, reliable Yasha, completed on the brew. Is he going to turn this into a Sanjin Yasha? It's hard to theory craft what Mason is going to throw together on the Brewmaster. Typically not a hero we get to see too often. Obviously he's got the extra crit damage and the evasion. And typically don't see a Manta build, so I would believe this could be thrown together into a Sanjin Yasha kind of build. And now they're making a move on Mason. They got it. They have the bear, the extra damage, the wards, laying it out, but Radiant look like they might know what's going on here. No Lincoln's completed yet. They throw out the swarm, but Roshi's gonna fall. And the Brewmaster, Mason, quickly takes the Aegis into his own. And they're gonna step themselves out of there. Meanwhile, Arteezy farming away in the top lane. 1.5k in the bank. Obviously his push stick is completed. And now he's looking in. Kind of putting a little bit of threat on the LD. Will be forced to step back. Mason in the meantime, run through the jungle. Happen to have his new Aegis. They're thinking about making a move on Brood. Run in. There's a telekinesis. Impale will land the mana leak. He will get a stun. Nice black hole return on both of them. And they have the sentry. The C might come in. Carapace to counter though. And now they're making a move. Trout doesn't have anything else to offer. And no rotation by the rest of the team just yet. And they're able to pick him off. If it isn't Kotlguy the Betrayer, what is happening here? Raging is my hobby. Josh P. Josh P. How you doing? Welcome back. Calling me a betrayer. How dare you? 113, 114 for Arteezy leading the way as far as CS. Right behind him though is Mason. And Weaver's in third. The carry for the Radiant team. What is happening here? Where is the courier? Really? Oh, he's got the ultimate orb, so he's that much closer to the Lincoln Sphere. We'll have it, hopefully. About 20-minute mark. If they get a pick off here, we'll make things a lot easier. They're making a move on the LD. They throw him up with the telekinesis right back. The swarm will fly. And this will be just too much. One more hit will do it, and they take him out. No problem.
Thread the needle through your eyes.
Time lapse to get a little extra health. And as you can see, Rubik picks up the true form. Doesn't opt to use it just yet. TP's himself out of the fight, but Arteezy in it to win it. Advances in and will fall. They trade Arteezy for the LT. Not a bad trade there as they hand Mason over the kill. Of course I'm following your channel. Friendly guy. Tralf gonna go with the push stick again this game. Just like last time. He wasn't really effective with it. Obviously it works really well. A lot of people like to get it over the Blink Dagger as it adds not only the initiation factor, but you're able to help out a teammate in need. And of course, granted, you get delicious extra intelligence and mana regen with it. As long as you know what you're doing, it can always be a smart pickup. Ryu looking for the hook. Throws it out, grabs Mike. Mike quickly with the Carapace and the Impale. He's going to try to get out of this one. Midnight Pulse falls, but with a Vendetta, he's able to escape. Nice attempt there by Ryu, but it's not going to be enough this time. And now they're looking for a counter initiate as Mason, flirting with the front lines, looking to farm away a couple of Enigma children. Hook flies, it will whiff on the Visage as he steps away. Arteezy calling out the Sange and Yasha farm on Mason. Mason happy to sit this pub-style Brewmaster with early farm. Will get hooked up after telekinesis. Now he's in a bit of a jam here. Midnight Pulse laid out. He's isolated enough. The Aegis is forced to pop. The rest of the team is going to need to show up, but they're too busy in the jungle and all over the place. Mason will retreat. The long-range Malefice will catch him off. Now Weaver on the run. Visage shows up. They're trying to put any sort of threat, but where is the rotation? LD doesn't even want to bother. There's no tower to TP2. Tower to TP2. No tier 1 tower for the Dire team to rotate in, but they managed to get away without losing anyone. They do lose the Aegis. Weaver's committing into this. Same with the Rubik. They're a little too far in here. Soul Assumption will fly. They take him out. Hook by Mike, but he's Vendetta. Oh no, sorry. Hook on the Weaver. Wow, they end up losing the Rubik. Not much communication there. The rest of the Radiant team didn't opt to make the advancement in like Brood. They handed him over. 14-10 your score. We'll go ahead and switch over to net worth now as the Dire team get ready to rummage through the jungle. There's your items. Cecil building towards that Agnum Scepter. No surprises there on the Visage. The extra familiar will be pretty helpful. Mike making a move on Ryu. Lays out the Impale. Mason quickly does him in and gets another kill under his belt. Mason already with 2.3k in the bank. Just a very unorthodox Brewmaster. It might be setting a lot of the players on the Radiant team off. Not really familiar with going against the Brewmaster. You have to remember, Brew has the Drunken Haze. You know, can win in a man fight, and obviously has that extra survivability with the ultimate Primal Spirit, and as long as you're able to effectively use. I know there's a recent buff to the Primal Spirit, I believe, in 6.79. Wouldn't mind seeing a new meta on our hands, but I don't think that's the case. I think Mason's just kind of taking advantage of the early farm he had and just kind of running away with the game. Radiant holding the tower. So you can see Rubik picked up the wards himself, using him to thwart back the push in the mid lane. Cecil farming away, just a little bit closer to that Agnum Scepter. Meanwhile, Juby, Weaver, Lincoln's completed. Now they're making a move. They quickly pull out the LD. He's going to be in a bit of trouble. Forced to shapeshift. Now they're trying to go on Ryu. He's going to take 1 for 1, and he will. But he hands over the kill to Juby. And it's not a trade you necessarily want. Was happy to take down 1 with him, but was forced to sacrifice the kill. Now Juby making an advancement in. Does not know Mike is there. Baits it out perfectly. There's a Vendetta, the Mana Leak, but he is able to time-lapse back out. And Mike does not catch the Impale. And Juby slips through their fingers. Back to the farm. Let's go down our window over here. There we go. Anyone watching me from over at twitch.tv/Kotlguy, I want to say what's up. Thanks for joining me. This is an NEL Season 2 match featuring a lot of NA Dota players in the IXDL in-house league. You can get a ticket for about $5. There is potential plans, if you didn't see already on Reddit, that they might switch things up for the next season and go into 1-month season periods with no downtime in between to force players to really jump into games a lot more often, instead of the usual 2-month seasons with a 1-week layover. So obviously that means that if you want to get the money, you get the money quicker and faster if you get the games in sooner. So it's just trying to, it's an idea they're throwing out there where they want to be able to build up as much, you know, gameplay as possible. Obviously, since seasons will be shorter, they will take the ticket prices down as well, about half. Turtles, how's it going? Welcome. Too sleepy? Well, go ahead and relax there as Juby taking a lot of damage, forced to throw out the time lapse. Mike doesn't have Impale just yet, but Mason making advancement there. Has his eyes on Juby, but here comes Arteezy laying out some serious damage. Quickly finishes off Mike. Astral's up. Mason can't do much to stop that. Doesn't have any sort of survivability just yet. No BKB, no Leaking Sphere for him. Instead going for the Mask of Madness. and already building towards what looks like an MKB. Not going with any sort of survivability. That's pretty interesting. He won't be able to stop the Astral. Or telekinesis. Yeah, as I said before, it's just kind of an idea they're tossing around for the NEL for next season. They want to be able to get a lot more games going. They don't like, you know, a lot of games, just kind of one at a time and few and far between. And of course, I'm always game for more games. It gives me more games to cast, more games for Neo Dota to cast, more item drops for players watching, more action. Bear taking a lot of damage here. Will feed over the 300 gold. Mason throws out the early ultimate, eating a lot of damage from the wards. Asking his team to make the advancement in, going in Power Ranger style. Hook out by Visage. He's going to be isolated here. Ryu's going to actually step back. Here comes Juby to swing in. He's trying to Sakuchi him through. Mason's still making a run in. What is happening here? Way down. Whoa, 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 whoa. My mouse just kind of freaked out for a second right away. Ryu gets a quick hook on Mason. Won't be enough. And he gets a mega kill streak now. Lone Wolf eating a lot of damage from both the Weaver. Trouf shows up. Did use the ultimate. Sorry, I missed it there. And now, LD laying out the damage on the Weaver. Weaver being forced to retreat. Your Dick like finishes off Visage. Mason still in the fight. Gets an ultra kill. And 5-man wipe by the Dire team. Sorry, I got thrown off there by the camera action. But the Radiant sweep through it. Get a 5-man wipe in exchange for 2. And now they're looking to push the bottom lane. Man, just like last game. Just like last game.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Even with this extremely unorthodox team, they're pulling away with the game right now, 21-14. Ryu, you know, not too much crazy stuff happening as the Pudge, but he is a threat. You know, if you're not going to have that Clockwork initiate with the hook, you always have the Pudge there to land a hook of his own to isolate a member from the other team, but they're making advancements here. The bottom lane going for the tier 3. They get it. Arteezy already has the sheepstick in hand. Juby, obviously with Lincoln Sphere, already 4.4k in the bank. Potentially could look for him to build into that Desolator. Wow, Arteezy just not happy. Not this shit again as he gets taken down. Trouf picks up the Pipe of Insight straight away. Not really happy to deal with the Venomancer and his ultimate. Not going to be much more that the Dire can offer here. Mason is not going to be able to do it himself with his lone heavy damage and attack speed.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Mike, the Staff of Wizardry in hand, potentially looking to build towards what I would believe is the 4th staff. Primal Spirit picked up by Rubik. I would like to see that. What is this? Sacred Relic? What is happening right here? Rubik with a nice interesting build using the Midas. Not going support whatsoever. He's got shiny new red shoes and a Sacred Relic. Of course, we look over the vision. They have some. One generous member of the team. Probably Trouf. Put a ward on his own team there, but the Dire don't have much else to offer. They're going for the Roche right now. Juby with the DD is going to make it easy. Takes it easily, picks it up. Advancements in the mid lane as Mason makes a move in. Primal Spirit laid out by the Rubik, so hopefully there's no confusion. And now he's going in for Mike. In the meantime, Mason, Yule's in the air. He's going to be held up. And Juby still with that DD, laying out the damage. Now lays out his own Primal Spirit. So we're going to have a whole mess of bears. The Bernstein Bears laid out here. Throwing their porridge and everything. Out and about they go. Ryu ends up falling to the Soul Assumption. Rue takes a bit of damage here. Juby still laying out work, but Mason still has his ultimate going strong. Visage will fall as Arteezy shows up to the party and lays out a lot of damage. Mason gonna be caught in a bit of a jam. Lays out the damage, but it will be nothing compared to Arteezy's ultimate as he wipes them out. 4 fall. Only the lone Druid stands, but he's pretty much out of the fight. 1.8k. I don't even know what the bear has. It's gone. The Radiant team, they're looking to push ahead and push on. And now the Radiant team are going to go ahead and push in for that tier 3 and go for the racks. There has not been enough soundboard this game.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
I can change that though.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Radiant team very happy as they pick up the first set of the racks in the game, and they're looking to push in hard. Arteezy with that new Shiva's armor quickly does work of Mike. And that might be the nail in the coffin, as the Radiant are still holding strong here. Trout waits out the black hole, gets it on 3. They're tearing things apart as Arteezy lays out the damage. Lone Wolf falls next. Rude makes a TP out of there. Arteezy will fall, but he's got so much damage, he can quickly, or so much gold rather, he can quickly buy back and get right back in the fight. But 2 ended up falling, even after the damage was done. Oh, Hook laid out by Ryu, and they take him out.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Quickly, the Visage taken out by Ryu. Now Ryu taking a lot of damage here by Mason. Helped out by Arteezy. Arteezy gets himself out of the mix. The Blink Dagger timing, the escape, the teamwork, the camaraderie by the team. Ryu able to get out of that jam. Weaver feeds over the Aegis. Still alive now, though. Ryu shows up, eating a lot of damage from the Radiant Spare. Will fall. Turn back here. Arteezy still in the fight. Mason eating a lot of damage here. Quick burst. Throws up, throws down. Will fall. Not enough gold to buy back, though. Here we go. Another Primal Spirit laid out by the Rubik, doing work on Mike right now. So meanwhile, in the north, you can see Juby on the Weaver. Eating a lot of damage from the Bear. The Bear now going to be eating a lot. Will fall here. Primal Spirit doing work, and Juby more than happy to lay out the damage. Already obviously has that Desolator and the Reaver, but this is going to be more than enough as their team is going to push in the mid lane. They're going right for the throne, it looks like, or they're kind of just trolling around. They know they have the win. It's 32-18. Not much more that the Dire team can offer to contest the momentum that the Radiant team is throwing into the base. Abyssal Blade picked up by the Rubik. That's a nice build. Fade Bolt flies, Brood unstoppable. Now making a move on Lone Wolf, who's had a terrible game. Agnum Scepter picked up by him, but it's not going to have much when you're going against the pipe of Trout. And this is going to be a second set of racks. This should be game any moment now. Now making a move in. They're trying to take out Mike. They will do so with no problem. And that's another 5-man Mike. What went Roni? Did I say that? What went
Dire's
Roni?
middle tower is under attack.
What went wrong?
Dire's middle
What
tower
went wrong?
has
Well,
fallen. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
well, LD got shut down mid lane. You're going against an OD. Yes, it's true. You don't need the mana to be effective, but still, you're going against that range, that damage. You're able to throw him off from getting the last hits. It's just going to be way too much. You know, Mike was unable to get a quick enough level 6 to really be a factor in the mid game. Rotations were had. Trout was not really threatened in the jungle and able to farm up successfully. Weaver had a lot of space in his lane bottom, and it was just all that together is more than enough to make things really hard. I want to thank you guys for hanging out. This is Kotlguy. It's a really late night, so apologies on the lack of hype and enthusiasm. It's about 3:30 in the morning here on the East Coast. I'm going to go ahead and potentially call it a night here. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Please hit follow my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Kotlguy, as well as the Twitter, Kotlguy as well. And yeah, tomorrow I'll be back. I don't know if it'll be here. I don't know if it'll be on Neodota. But when I do come back, I'm probably looking to give away some items. Of course, it's a pleasure. Pleasure to cast as always. Weekend was great. Very good. I got to hang out with a good friend's family. Got to be with the family for Thanksgiving. Eat delicious food. It was a blasty blast. Just a blast.
Hosted.
Oh yeah, before I go also, if you have some extra time and you enjoyed the, you know, if you enjoy statistics, the statistics of Dota 2, or if you're looking to be a stats man potentially, you definitely need to check out that website that's linked right there, the Dota DB website. Let's see, do I still have it on my clipboard? Yeah, I do. Boom, if you go there, dotadbgameguys.com, you can check out all sorts of really cool game stats for yourself, who you're good with, what heroes you're showing the most potential with, how you've done with recent heroes, or just your overall statistics, as well as worldwide the statistics, who's playing what best, what heroes are coming into their own, who's getting the most play based on, you know, daily, weekly, monthly. So it's really interesting stuff. They organize it and display it in a very nicely manner, so I definitely encourage checking that out. Alright guys, have a good night, okay?